Welcome to my YouTube channel. This is a compiled message from the extract from the sermon Topic Trauma by Apostle Femi Lazarus. Listen as be blessed.
The devil wants to fight you before you know how to fight. He wants to make sure that by the time you are coming alive to consciousness, you're already disadvantaged. Is there hope for anyone with bad or poor foundation? Yes, there is. At some point, the one that was born in dunghill and the one that have been sitting with princes will meet. Whether or not hands will cross depends on what they have been doing with themselves. But I heard David said that you have lifted me from dunghill and set me among princes. You know, when I sometimes just see things happening, you see children begging on the streets or rolling tires in the rain, doing all those things. You see some others in their good schools and doing all that. At some point, they will meet. Who told you that when you see people like that, they are finished? Who told you that a man's background is his sum total of his life? Who told you? Sometimes it's people who are born in that condition that have hunger to ascend, and the process of growth forms character in them. There's nothing wrong with being born privileged. Just make sure you have sense, because you can lose all the privilege. Very important. So sometimes, if you have been crying, I wish I was born from this kind of family, I would have done this better. Stop that. When you truly look closely, you will discover that there's no disadvantage in any setting. You will not be who you are today except that you went through what you went through. And that process bettered certain characters and anointing in you that will make you see life differently and make you compassionate. Never sit down and cry and start pitying yourself. Oh, I wish. Don't wish for anything. Take responsibility with what you have in your hands. You will discover that hidden in the parables of your life, a contact point of grace, things that God made available, that is the exclusive preserve of your kind, to give you an edge. You are not your background. You are not your mother. You are not your dad. You will not repeat their mistakes. You must tell yourself that. God has brought you out, set you apart, because it's intentional. There's something He's doing. It's specific. It's deliberate. You may cry, but you are being formed. And He cometh to Bethesda, and they bring a blind man unto Him, and besought Him to touch him. The man had never seen in his life. When the blind man came, the Bible said He held him by the hand and led him away from the people. Then Jesus spat on his face. The first thing the man saw was men like trees. When you begin to do the kind of things you have never done before, you perceive everyone else as superior and yourself as inferior. Where was he talking from? It was the blow that blindness had dealt to him. A man who had never seen, how did he know trees? What he was simply saying is that the kind of people I'm seeing don't look like me. They are taller, they are higher, and they are bigger. You are about to step into the kind of field you have never stepped in, and you must not perceive men as trees. When God lifts you, if He has not dealt with the scales in your mind, you will see men like trees, and they will know you don't belong there. Even if you are in the lowest point of your life, and God has raised people to do you a favor, never feel worthless. The moment people know that you feel privileged to be around them, they will manipulate you. When you meet the class of people you have dreamt to meet all your life, always greet them with your shoulders high. Pleased to meet you. So good to see you. You are not pretending. You are simply not seeing men as trees. When God lifts you and you feel too privileged, people will call it luck. They will believe there's no hard work that brought you there, and that level will push you out. Never admire people so much so that you abandon your uniqueness. If God wanted only them, He would not have created you. Say it again, I am important. At some point as a pastor, I did not know. My heart has been battered. You know, in ministry you can have PTSD. People can betray you, and from that moment you can no longer perceive people right. You can get to a point where you are greeting everybody, but you are not letting them into your heart, just so you don't betray me. I don't want to give you too much, because I don't want to go through what I went through. Let me explain a concept. Two boxers. Okay, let's say I'm the guy, and then he's about to fight another guy, Anthony Joshua. So they asked him, what's your game plan? He said, I'm going to beat him. He said, because I discovered that the last time he gave his best was when he fought Vladimir Klitschko. So after that fight, he said he has become something else. Though he won the fight, this guy won the fight, but the guy he fought took him to a realm in that fight that both of them digged it. That from that day going forward, this guy is afraid of ever touching that realm again. You can win and still not want repetition because of the pain. People can take you in a realm to a level that you discover a kind of hurt, and you will not know you have made a decision. I will not let anybody into this space again. If care is not taken, including your spouse. Yes. Do you know you can give your body and yet not your all? Yes. Where your heart is far. You can get to a point where you are anticipating disappointment from people. I know it's just a matter of time. They are all the same. So let me protect myself. And when we get there, we don't really go through life enjoying all that God has for us. because you are busy defending and defecting. And what is going to happen is that in the course of doing that, you will not know you are betting pain, you are hurting people. They want to love you, but you are not allowing them. They want to show you they care, but there's no road to your heart. And I discovered that as we climb the ladder in life, that's the more this happens. We become less persons and more of personalities. That we have found professional ways to address everybody. Hello, too good to see you. Pleased to meet you. That person is far from you as the heaven is to the earth. That you talk to people, there is a conversation, but there's no heart connection. How did we get there? Why? It's fear. Fear of disappointment. Fear of pain. I ask that there will be a wave of healing. Do you really listen to people's stories? Do you take your time to connect to people's realities? Have you any idea that your home is not all that exists? And what we are talking about is real. Some people don't know what a home looks like. They grew up in a house, not a home. How about the one that was raped for years by her father? Watching the story of a girl, 17 years old. The elder brother has been sleeping with her, I think, for 7 years, and the father for 5 years. And the both of them knew that they were sleeping with her. The mother had left, and now she had given birth to a girl for the elder brother. Now that's dysfunctionality. Is there a gospel for this kind? Is there repair? Yes, there is. Because there's a generation that must rise and say, we are not leaving anyone behind. Doesn't matter how bad it gets. When we do our church things, some people don't feel among. We don't connect. Don't you get it? When we have our meetings where we gist, we look like one of a kind, the privileged ones. They are not captured in our curriculum for the year. It's for everyone but them. Even our marriage counselor. The son of so and so general overseer, the daughter of so and so general overseer coming together to get married. The privileged ones. And they look in the shadows and look at us. And you talk to them, it's like they are so far away. I just feel, I'm not like you. Maybe God hated me, that's why I was born where I was born. Have you any idea that life doesn't revolve around you? People have their own realities, deep ones. And when we come down to this point and raise people up, you know what people say? They say they are building user-friendly church. Should the church be user's enemy? Help us that we will be able to love again. The devil wants to get into homes. He's really all out against families. We need to understand this because this is the smallest but the most functional unit of the society. He wants to infiltrate the system with ideas, with dysfunctionalities, so that the children that will be born from those systems will be born defective. One of the things environment does is that it also communicates possibilities. So let me explain. If a child grows up from a family where the father slapping the mother, dragging on the floor is a regular thing, even when the child hates the father with passion and swears that I will never do this in my life, that child still has the likelihood of doing it compared to the one who didn't see it. Because it will get to where it will get to. It will say maybe this is why they beat women. Why? Because seeing it has communicated that it is what? Possible. Are you seeing that now? So what is the devil doing? Making sure that seeds are planted where there is dysfunctionalities, where there is issues, where there is confusion, where there is chaos, so they can carry that seed. Sometimes the attack is actually not all those things. The attack is growing up in a setting where there's so much depravity, and that's why our role in the society is beyond just churchgoers. If we say we have revival in Nigeria, we must enter the society now for transformation. If not, we are all sitting on the keg of a gunpowder. The people we ignore on the streets, when it gets to where it will get to, they will say the only way out is that I will avenge all the suffering I've gone through. I will kill these people and they will taste a bit of my pain. That's how people become hardened. Spread love, spread healing, spread the wave. Let me tell you something. You might be going through a situation where there is no word with which you can get hope and encouragement. Hold on to God. In chemistry, there's something called physical change and chemical change. Simple things, they say physical change are changes that can be reversed, either forward or backward. Chemical changes can be reversed. For instance, when you convert liquid to solid through freezing, you can reverse it. Okay? But when you burn a piece of paper, convert it to ash, you can't reverse it. So there are permanent changes. Let me give you another one. When people eat and it is digested in their system and they pass some out as dungs and then the rest absorbed by the body, you can't reverse it and make it rise again. But God said, I will restore the years that the locusts, the cankerworms. Listen, when locusts eat, they defecate as they eat. He said, I will call it back. I will restore it again. Brand new. Yes, sir. That's what he says. Amen. Amen. There is nothing you can do against us but for us. I am not disadvantaged. This is the life I have. I am not disadvantaged. Glory! When they expect you to be cowering and crying, you are rejoicing and say, what's happening there? Because there is nothing you can do against us but for us. People struggling with childhood trauma grow up to become people pleasers. You want to please everybody. You want to manage people's ego for them. You want to manage everybody's esteem at the expense of yourself. Some people are dating narcissists, a self-absorbed individual, and they will make you feel bad, and you say it's true and bad. It takes a level of being battered to hang around your abusers. That's not patience. That's bad esteem. Don't give people the impression that you're a rag. I've related with people that nobody has ever walked out of their lives, and I did. You can't put me down because of your ego. I will not be abused. You can walk out of abusive relationships. You have friends who will always talk about themselves and shut down your dreams. When you say anything, they shut it down and they are quick to talk about their own. And every time you leave them, you go back doubting your very essence, or you keep going back. They love a slave and a slave master. This world is a wicked place. The moment people see that they can control you, they will. Don't be that nice. Be kind. That's the fruit of the spirit. But I didn't see niceness there. Stop trying to use the money you don't have to appease people. It is not everywhere you can give tip. Sometimes the tip is your transport. Oga, collect it. There are places you go to eat, they are giving the impression you collect change. Oga, yes, I will. You are a guy who is just starting life, and you are dating this girl that every time you want to go out, she brings all her friends. And right there, you are already borrowing money from UBA so you can pay all the bills. Stand up for yourself and tell her, this is my budget. You are man enough. Speak up. If she wants to leave you, let her go. Anybody who doesn't understand your season can't be worthy of your future. Don't give people the impression that you'll always bow to their will because you want to prove a point. Don't do that. Stand up for yourself.
I know that you are being blessed. Please kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share my posts. Thank you so much for doing that. I know that you want to enjoy the full sermon. Please kindly go to Apostle Femi Lazarus page to enjoy a full and detailed sermon. Thank you.